The village was lost to time. Weeds choked the streets, houses sagged, forgotten. No one lived there anymore except Mia. Mia had just turned 13. She loved exploring the crumbling ruins. One day she found a house. It stood at the edge of the village, dark and silent. It called to Mia. She had to see inside. The iron gate creaked open. Mia stepped onto the overgrown path. The air felt heavy, like a blanket of sadness. Mia shivered. She couldn't explain the feeling, but she knew this place held secrets. Mia pushed the front door. It groaned open. Dust swirled in the air. The house smelled stale and damp, like old books and forgotten memories. Mia stepped inside. The floorboards creaked under her weight. Sunbeams slanted through cracks in the walls. They illuminated dust motes dancing in the air. Mia wandered from room to room, each one empty. Yet she felt a presence, as if someone was watching her.
A sudden noise made her jump. It was just a loose shutter banging against the house. The wind howled outside. Mia took a deep breath. She had to admit, this place was creepy, but she wouldn't let fear stop her. She had to uncover the secrets of this house.
Mia climbed the creaking stairs. The railings were coated in dust. She reached the landing. There were 3 doors. One was slightly ajar. Mia peered inside. It was a child's bedroom. A rocking horse stood frozen in the corner. As Mia stepped closer, she heard it, a whisper, soft and low, and it seemed to come from the walls themselves.
"Don't leave me."
Mia froze. Her heart pounded in her chest. She was sure she had heard something. Taking a deep breath, Mia pushed open the door the rest of the way. The room was empty except for the rocking horse and a small, dusty crib. The whispering had stopped, but Mia couldn't shake the feeling that she was not alone. The house was whispering to her. Mia entered the last room on the landing. It was a small sitting room. A dusty armchair faced the window, and on a table beside it lay a book. Mia brushed away the dust. It was a diary bound in faded leather. She opened the diary. The pages were brittle and yellowed. The handwriting was elegant and flowing. The diary belonged to a woman named Eliza. She wrote about her life in the house and about her love for her husband, a soldier away at war. Eliza's words painted a picture of a happy life, a life cut short by tragedy. Mia read about the day Eliza received the news of her husband's death in battle. Grief filled Eliza's final entries, along with a desperate longing, a longing to see her husband again. Section 5, the attic mirror. The diary mentioned an attic. Mia's curiosity was piqued. She found a narrow staircase behind a tapestry. It led to the attic. The air up there was thick with dust. Cobwebs hung from every corner. A single window cast a dim light into the space. In the center of the attic stood a mirror. Its gilded frame was tarnished with age. The glass was cloudy, yet Mia felt drawn to it. She slowly approached, her heart thumping in her chest. She couldn't shake the feeling that something was waiting for her.
As I peered into the mirror, I saw a flicker of movement. A shadow crossed the glass.
Mia knew she was not imagining things. The attic, the mirror, the entire house held a darkness that she could no longer ignore. Section 6. Eliza's reflection. Mia stared into the mirror. Her breath caught in her throat. A face was staring back at her. It wasn't her own. It was a young woman with sad eyes and a flowing white gown. Her image flickered, like a candle about to be blown out. Then the image solidified. The woman in the mirror was Eliza. Mia knew it with a certainty that defied logic. Eliza's eyes locked with Mia's.
"Help me."
Her voice, a mournful whisper, seemed to come from inside Mia's head. A cold shiver ran down Mia's spine. Fear threatened to overwhelm her, but she stood her ground. Eliza's eyes held a depth of sadness that resonated deep within Mia. She knew in her heart that she couldn't turn away. She had to help this lost soul.
I have to help her. I can't just turn away.
Find the locket. It's the key to setting me free.
Eliza's whispering voice echoed in Mia's mind. Mia searched the attic from top to bottom. She moved old boxes and furniture, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and determination. Finally, behind a loose floorboard, she found it, a small silver locket, tarnished with time. It felt ice cold in Mia's hand. As she turned it over, she noticed a small inscription on the back, Eliza and James, forever bound. It was the missing piece of the puzzle. Mia's mind raced. She understood now. Eliza was trapped, bound to the house by her grief and the locket that symbolized her love for James. To free Eliza, Mia had to find a way to break the locket's hold. But how could she break something so deeply entwined with love and loss? Mia clutched the locket in her hand. Eliza's presence felt stronger now, almost as if she was standing right beside her, whispering in her ear. Her whispers echoed in the attic, bouncing off the walls and filling the space with an eerie resonance.
"Break it! Set me free!" The words were soft but carried a weight that pressed down on Mia's heart.
Mia hesitated. Could such a simple act truly break the bonds of grief that held Eliza captive? Doubt gnawed at her, but the urgency in Eliza's voice pushed her forward. Taking a deep breath, Mia closed her eyes and squeezed the locket with all her might. There was a sharp crack as the metal gave way, a sound that seemed to echo through time. A cold wind swept through the attic, swirling around Mia. She opened her eyes, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Eliza's reflection in the mirror flickered once more. As the wind died down, a sense of peace settled over the attic, a calm that Mia hadn't felt in years. The oppressive weight that had hung in the air was gone. Mia looked at the mirror, but Eliza's reflection was gone, replaced by the emptiness of the dusty glass. Only her own startled face stared back. Had she succeeded in freeing Eliza? Or had it all been a figment of her imagination? The questions swirled in her mind, but one thing was certain. The attic felt different now, lighter, as if a burden had been lifted. The attic was silent now. The only sound was the creaking of the old house. The air was thick with memories, each beam and floorboard holding echoes of the past. Mia stood before the mirror, clutching the broken locket in her hand. A single tear rolled down her cheek, tracing a path of sorrow. The locket, a relic of a bygone era, seemed to pulse with a life of its own. She felt a profound sense of loss, as if she had said goodbye to a friend. Suddenly, a warm light emanated from the mirror, casting a golden glow that filled the room with an otherworldly warmth. It enveloped Mia, filling her with a sense of peace and tranquility. Within the light, she saw Eliza one last time. Eliza's presence was ethereal, almost angelic, as if she were a guardian spirit watching over Mia. Her face was no longer etched with sadness, but radiated a serene joy. She smiled at Mia, a look of profound gratitude in her eyes. It was a smile that spoke of forgiveness, of love, and of release. Then, as quickly as it appeared, the light faded. The mirror returned to its former state, dusty and old. The room seemed to exhale, releasing a breath it had held for years, but the air felt lighter now. The oppressive presence that had haunted the house was gone. The shadows that once loomed large had receded, leaving behind a sense of calm. Mia knew in her heart that Eliza was finally free, her spirit released from its earthly bonds. The house, once a prison of memories, was now a sanctuary of peace. Mia left the attic and made her way out of the house, her footsteps echoing softly on the wooden floorboards. The sun felt warm on her skin, a stark contrast to the cold, eerie atmosphere she had just left behind. The village, though still in ruins, seemed less desolate now, as if a new hope had begun to take root. As if Eliza's release had lifted a veil of sadness from the very air, allowing the village to breathe once more. Mia knew she would never forget her encounter with Eliza, the ghost girl who had been trapped in sorrow for so long. She carried the broken locket with her as a reminder of the ghost girl and the power of compassion, a symbol of their connection. Though Eliza was gone, Mia felt a sense of comfort knowing that she had helped her find peace, a peace that had eluded her for years. As she walked away, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, a lingering presence that seemed to follow her. Glancing over her shoulder, she saw a faint figure standing in the attic window, a silhouette that seemed familiar. It was just a fleeting glimpse, but Mia could have sworn she saw Eliza one last time, her form barely visible. Her translucent form shimmering in the fading light, like a whisper of the past blending with the present. A gentle smile graced her lips as if to say, "Thank you," a final farewell that brought closure to both their stories.